I'm Tom Larson.
And we are the boys
Of
Bass, coming at you like Kamikaze, fixing backs and dropping facts.
Here to entertain, educate, and enlighten you on physical therapy, health, wellness,
Yes, sir.
all that kind of stuff.
All the good things. Only the good things.
Dude, we are on fire.
Man.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. 1 in 5. That's 2 hands. We're 2 hand people. We're 2 hand content creators right now.
Oh, man. So listen, we've been going through our rehab process now.
Right.
Step 1, soft tissue mobilizations to help with muscle tone, tension, breaking up scar tissue adhesion, getting things moving a little bit better.
Yep, we last episode we kind of went over some of the massage tools we use around here that help with mobility and promoting good muscle tissue and pliability in the tissue. And today we're switching up. We're not switching up. We're kind of going along that same process. And today we're
Second
talking
step.
about
The second step of the process is to activate stabilizer muscle.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Now here's the problem, Kai. In the body, we have prime mover muscles.
Mm-hmm.
We have stabilizer muscles for the most part. Now, there's some muscles that do stability and motion, prime movements as well, like lats.
Right.
But in general, muscles are either prime movers or stabilizers.
Right.
And the problem is that we just don't know how to use our stabilizer muscles.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the conscious control and awareness of those.
Right.
And that gets us in trouble because the brain is set up for ultimately survival.
Yeah.
Gotta move.
Yeah.
Gotta survive.
Yeah.
Energy efficiently with lots of stability at joints.
Right.
Stability at all costs.
Right.
And we just don't know how to use the stabilizers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, I always ask patients, I'm like, listen, you've heard of your bicep muscle.
Right.
I say, can I flex your bicep muscle? Right. Big prime. Man, son, where'd you get those at?
Man, I bought these at Costco in bulk.
See, you know how to use your big prime mover muscles,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
But if I ask them, I'm like, you've heard of your rotator cuff,
Right.
stabilizer group, right? And I say, hey, flex your subscapularis muscle. They're like, wait, what?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know how to do that.
What is that?
So here's the point. We just have that conscious control awareness of our big prime movers, but not a little bit stabilizers.
Exactly.
And in that pyramid of movement and survival, when we don't have the control over the stabilizers, prime movers will oftentimes take over and try to help stabilize joints.
Correct.
And that gets us in a ton of trouble.
Yes.
So our second step is to wake up these stabilizers. And we go through very specific muscle or exercises to wake up these muscles.
Right. Starting with the cross balls, that start waking stuff up, right? Go into it. So, like you said before, pec, one of those big globals. Everybody thinks, man, I've been working, but this hurts. Let me work it more. No. We got to calm these down. A lot of people don't know, like, hey, I've been working this exercise. It's going to help fix whatever issue I have going on with my shoulder. But first you have to do is unrelease these muscles that are taking over. And you'll see it too. Like I said, when we have patients I literally just had a patient earlier. They said, man, when I'm doing rows, I'm pulling, I'm going here, and you'll see them like this. They're pulling these shoulders up, using these traps. That's another big mover, upper trap. That big trap, those big things, those are great. They look great. The Goldbergs, Tom's got them.
But they're not using the low trap to help stabilize the scapula.
Exactly.
Right? The shoulder blade. And the problem is too with a lot of these stabilizers, they're on the backside, so you can't see them, right? So you don't have that awareness, you know. And so a lot of times with the lacrosse ball with tactile cue, you know, this infraspinatus will get into the low trap, mid trap, wake those guys up. Because remember, that's one of our goals of massage is to activate or upregulate muscle, wake it up, right? Or downregulate it. Like the pecs, we want to downregulate them because there's too much tension. So we're going to downregulate those, upregulate in the back.
And y'all remember that from our last episode when we talked about the massage tools, where we were trying to upregulate a muscle or downregulate it to get it to calm down, so it's not so hypertonic or so getting so much signal to kind of pump and take over. Because it's once you get something started, it wants to keep going. It's like, hey, I'm taking over. Every time I do this movement, I need to be doing the movement. I need to be taking over. And these rotator cuff muscles, especially in your rotator cuff, they just want to have control of it. They want to stabilize. They want to have that little bit. But like I said, when they're not strong enough and they get fatigued quickly, guess what? Something's going to have to make that movement. So that's when our big prime movers take over.
That's right. You know, another area where we have a lot of stabilizers is in the hip. Ball and socket joint, just like your shoulder, pseudo rotator cuff, not exactly a rotator cuff, but similar. Do 6 rotators in the hip. You know, and I'll ask people, hey, flex your gemelli. Like gemelli.
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah, you got superior and inferior gemelli. You don't know that? How embarrassing,
Is
man.
that my intestines? Your jejunum. Flex it.
So we're going through and doing a lot of mat table exercise to wake up these stabilizers. For the shoulder, we like to use what Major League Baseball uses because if it's good for Major League Baseball players, rotator cuff, it's probably good for mine and yours too.
For sure. Yeah.
So we'll go through a series of exercises to wake up these stabilizers.
And it's hard to do because, like I said, a lot of things was promoted when you're watching a lot of YouTube videos and Instagram, all these little stuff. You see people working those big prime movers, the show muscles, the stuff that makes you feel good to look at and everything. But a lot of times, those are also the same things that get you in trouble later on down the line. So it's a lot of getting those things improved or stabilizing them.
Right, because the role of stabilizers you've got these big prime mover muscles trying to destabilize or decentralize this joint, ball and socket joint, right? So, and the rotator cuffs are small muscles. And you got these big, powerful prime movers and this long lever arm that creates a lot of torque on that.
Yeah.
So these guys have a huge role to play.
Yeah.
And what will happen a lot of times in the gym, because we're working these big prime movers all the time, the gap between our big prime movers and our small stabilizers gets bigger.
Yeah.
So we develop a relative weakness. It's not like people are necessarily weak, but relative to the strength of the big prime movers, the small bitty stabilizers are not strong enough to stabilize that.
Exactly.
So your brain freaks out. It's not very healthy for the joint. There's a potential threat. I'm going to start tightening up other things. So I'll tighten up the pec, or I'll tighten up, my upper trap or my hamstrings. I'm using these prime movers now to help stabilize these joints.
Yeah, it's funny. Tom was talking about it. It makes me go back. So we talk about the stabilizers, and we talk about the big movers, right? So I've been in the gym forever. I feel like I've been, most of the time since I was 3. I came out the womb flexing and doing bicep curls. But we came in when Tom had went and bought this instrument called the bamboo bench.
Oh,
remember that? And so I go in the gym. Yeah, I could push 225. That's nothing. Whatever. He's like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this bamboo bench. And this thing is like this thing probably weighs. Let me go get it. Probably weighs all of what, 5 pounds or something like that. If that, maybe 2 pounds. It's nothing, right?
Earthquake bar.
Earthquake bar is what it's called, right? And so we do this, and and you put it on the bench, and we start trying to do this bench press. And mind you, I have about maybe 15 pounds on each side, if that.
Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. You had 25.
I had 25.
So you had 50 pounds. You're trying to bench 50 pounds.
50 pounds. Now, mind you, I'm a guy that can push 225 easy.
No
right?
problem.
No issue, right? Put but 20. We'll say 25 because it makes me feel better, my ego, right? So 25 on each side on with some TheraBands on it. And when I tell you, stabilizers couldn't do it. My big movers weren't a part of this equation. I almost took out
You almost took your teeth out, man.
and something else too on the other side. Yeah, so it was bad, man. But it kind of it really was a wake up call to show, like, man. This whole time when you're moving, when you're doing bench and doing all that stuff with this stuff, you have a little bit of stabilizer, making sure it goes forward. But the heavier the weight, that weight's not going left to right, it's just going down, right? So you don't have to worry about stabilization as much as opposed to when you're doing this and you're trying to go down, you're like trying to push, and this is going left and right, and you have to really stabilize this weight that's kind of freely moving on the sides. It was definitely a wake-up call for me.
But, and this is where people can get in trouble at the gym, thinking that machines, they're so much safer. The problem is a machine stabilizes the weight for you.
Yeah.
So your brain is so efficient that it recognizes that, hey, this machine is stabilizing this weight.
Yeah.
My stabilizer can kind of chill.
Yeah.
I don't need to work them. So now I'm really putting a lot of attention to my big prime movers. I'm making my big prime movers even that much stronger without having to use my stabilizer when I use this weight.
Right.
And that can get you in a lot of trouble too.
Right. It goes like if everybody's seen the 40-year-old version, if you don't use it, you lose it. So as you're going through, when you're doing these big old huge muscles, those other muscles start to actually be like, hey, I don't need to stabilize because I got this clear-cut linear movement here, forward and back. Forward and back. That's it. I don't have to worry about going up, down, no stabilizer again. And they're like, hey, if you're not going to use me, I can turn off because there's no reason for me to be here.
Yep.
I'm not
Remember,
serving.
survive efficiently, energy efficiently, lots of stability.
Path least resistance. It's easier. If it's easier, hey, let's do it.
We're going to figure it out. All right, so I guess our first step then is to massage. Soft tissue mobilization. Our second step, activate stabilizers. And our third step, coming up next episode, baby. Episode 7.
Tune in. That's a cliffhanger.
So until then, go out, live, work, and play better inside your body. Peace out.